once again to another Friday night of And the Winners Are. Let's get all the commercial stuff out of the way here. You can find me on social media at West Coast Steeler Fan. If you go on our Facebook pages where we are broadcasting live right at this moment, it'll be under J.E. King 3 and the Steeler Chronicles. So you can join us there. You can subscribe and donate on Facebook to our Cash App, $ J.E. King 3. And with that, let's get this show on the road. I see Mike is here already. Uh, Mike, I'm going to have to get me one of those, a cool Ohio State cap here to do the show with here.
I should get my Michigan hat. One second. Let's do this right. Let's just do this right now. We're going to do this right. That's right. We got Michigan going on right now. Hell yeah.
All right. There you go. Because I got some questions, man, and then I wish you had been on last night's show because I got some questions about TCU, but we'll talk about that a little further down the line. But how's your week been? How'd you do last week?
I did all right. I had a sort of a down week last week, unfortunately. But the 2 previous weeks, I was above 500. This week, not so much.
Yeah, a lot of turnarounds this week. Some unexpected games. And hey, it's been a very interesting season. First full season with 17 games, and we're already in week 10.
I know, isn't it crazy?
Can you believe that? I mean, we wait all this time, and now there's only 2 months left.
It's insane how fast it goes. None of the rest of the year goes this fast at all. As soon as football season hits, boom, the jet blasters go on, and off we go.
Yeah, I mean, and we threw all the holidays in there with Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, So, but few interesting things happened on the way to the college football rankings this week, and I wonder how you feel about some of them. But let's start with what happened. Georgia's number one again after whooping Tennessee by 2 touchdowns. But once again, Mike, we're passed over. I mean, first they Alabama was number one, then Georgia was number one, then they jumped, they jumped Georgia over us. Now then they jumped Tennessee. Now Tennessee, all of a sudden, Georgia's back to one, and TCU is number 4. So, a couple questions here. Now Michigan and Ohio State are 2 and 3, respectively. All things remaining constant, do you think that the Big Ten Conference could be a preview of the first round of the college football playoffs?
It should be. It really should be. I don't know. It's going to be difficult for that to happen because, unfortunately, one team has to lose in the last game of the season, if not before then.
Well, yeah, now we've talked about it. We talked about last week. When first time that Ohio State hadn't put at least 44 points on the board, but they still beat a really good Penn State team, and of course Michigan also had a win. But now rumors have it that if Ohio State and Michigan meet, and both are undefeated when they meet,
right,
the loser will miss. Let me just repeat that. The loser will miss the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you really think that an undefeated TCU or a one-loss Clemson are better than either one of those teams?
No. I don't think TCU is better, and I don't think Clemson is better. I think Michigan and Ohio State can beat those two teams.
So we've seen, like with the SEC, it doesn't matter. If you got a two-team, a team in there with two losses, the SEC is going to get their share and
Yep.
make sure they get two representatives in that college bowl. I mean, it's been like that for almost a decade now. So how is it that, and we talked about the schedules last week, so it's going to be interesting to see what TCU and Texas does this week. I think Texas might pull off the upset.
I do too.
But
I think there's a good possibility of that happening.
So why would a one-loss Big Ten team be knocked out of the playoffs when it'll have a tougher schedule? Even though Bill points out to me that TCU has beat the most teams that are ranked in the top 25, but I don't see where they beaten.
I don't know where Bill got that. Okay.
Well, sometimes, Bill compiles his own set of statistics too, and we all know that stats. So, but that being said, I'm looking at either way that for me. This is just for me now. Just my point of view. We'll leave Washington at number one. I mean, excuse me, Georgia at number one. We'll leave Ohio State, or the winner, whoever's the winner of that of the conference, would be number two.
Okay, fair.
Okay, number three. If you want to go the way that the present things, using the present stats, TCU would be number three, and whoever had that one loss, Michigan or Ohio State, would have to be four. Strength of schedule.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. You're playing 2 and a 3 play each other, and one of those teams gets knocked out past 5, or 4. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I think if 2 and 3 are playing each other, the loser drops down to 4, but they're still in playoffs. So yeah, I don't. What are you going to have? Tennessee right now? Tennessee or Oregon jump ahead in being there?
Like I said, what did I say? A one-loss Clemson.
Yeah, or Clemson, or
Alabama's going to lose 2. Has already lost 2, so we can eliminate them.
Yeah,
but only because they've lost 2. Otherwise, if somebody else a top 4 team had a one-loss record, I would dare to say they would try to put Alabama in there at least at number 5. But that's a different argument, so we won't go there yet.
Yeah, or LSU or USC or UCLA. And none of these teams should, regardless of how they finish, should be over Michigan or Ohio State.
If they both continue, if they're both undefeated when they meet at the end of the season. No,
exactly. Yeah, if Michigan loses and beat Ohio State, okay, because Michigan will drop down to 4 or 5. They'll probably drop. No, they'll probably drop further than that because
they'll probably drop at least down to 6.
Yeah, 6. Let's just say 6. That's fine, 6 or 7. And they beat number 2 Ohio State. Iowa State's probably 5 now, or maybe 4, but probably 5. So that makes sense. But if they're both, as you mentioned, if they're both undefeated and they're 2-3, or at least one, maybe even 1-2 by the end of the season, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, even if they were 3-4, I mean,
Right.
they're playing each other, and they're undefeated.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
uh, uh, what are you gonna do? Make them number 25? I mean,
Right.
come
Yeah.
on, you know. Uh, do you think that the University of Georgia also knocked Hendon Hooker out of the Heisman competition?
I don't know if he's knocked him out of the competition or the race per se, but is Hooker going to win after that just disastrous a performance? I mean, he was, as far as um, connecting, he was pretty good on accuracy. He was 23 for 33, which is pretty good. It's almost a 70% completion rate, so that wasn't the problem. It was the fact that he only gained 195 yards and then didn't throw a touchdown and threw one interception. You just can't have those kind of games. I mean, yeah, it's against one of the best teams in the nation, but I don't think he wins. He's gone from probably the top three. I went to like now 6 or 7. So yeah, I don't see him.
Yeah, I think unless something dramatic would happen, uh, a couple guys, even with a couple guys getting hurt, I don't see how he could overtake CJ or help me, the
The guy
Alabama.
from Alabama, yeah,
Yeah,
I always forget his name.
I do too.
Oh,
I guess we will
gets
all
me
remember.
every week.
I guess we'll all remember it around draft time, right?
Yeah, we'll definitely remember it around there. That is for
around
sure.
around draft time and Heisman time. But let's talk a little NFL. And I kind of broached this subject with you as soon as it happened because uh, although you like to move, I'm kind of astounded here. Um, Ursay has made some moves that a lot of people have questioned. A lot of them. The, the thing that I guess I would say that makes me skeptical on the outside, not being a coach person, is that it doesn't seem like a lot of his ideas have worked or had any type of longevity. And now he's hiring a guy, uh, great professional player, great coach, great motivational speaker. I'm assuming, and a good forecaster in Jeff Saturday. Now,
Mhm.
Saturday is only, to my knowledge, and I asked Encyclopedia Bill last night. He's only had his total experience is a high school coaching, and although
Right.
he had a winning record there, uh, as we both know, it's a difference between coaching men and coaching boys, and one of the things that I look at is the attitude of today's current players. Now, if you had one of those old team, one of those old style teams that were still, uh, you know, uh, uh, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that defense that stops everyone, uh, then I, I'm looking for the amount of respect here. Because a lot of times, when you're talking about young kids, especially, I think your roster, where most of them are under the age of 30, uh, number one, are they aware of just how good this guy is? And number two, if things should go backwards, are the players going to turn on the coach?
Hmm.
So what what's your thoughts? Is your team, like, I guess, gentlemanly tanking, or I mean, is he going to be an interim coach? And if he's not going to be the permanent coach, where do you see the coach going as a possible replacement for Wright?
Yeah, that's all good question. I think it doesn't matter right now. The Colts, whether you want to call it tanking, and you can, whether you call it giving up on the season, you can. I think that they're so far below everything that they're like, we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens. And I think that was a lot of the reason behind the Jeff Saturday hiring was, um, well, who's who we're not fighting for a playoffs position. We're not really inspired football right now. Let's get someone who can inspire, and let's see what happens. And that's Jeff Saturday. All of that. So I think he's going to lead this team. I think they missed out on a leader. I don't think Frank Reich was ever a leader. He was good, a good player coach. They respected him. They loved him. He loved his players, but he could not get them motivated to play a football game. And Jeff Saturday is going to definitely do that. And so we'll see. We'll see what the outcome is, but it can't get any worse. I mean, this offense is gross. I mean, I was telling my wife the other day that I haven't seen it this bad since 1992, 93. And that 30 something years ago. That's how long it's been since I've seen this offense be this bad.
You made me wince when you went way back there, 92. Jesus. Well, how old were you in 1992, man?
Oh, I was 20 years old. Yeah. I still had a bright full of life. I'm like, I got all these dreams, and we'll see which one comes true. So,
Hey, well, it could have been worse. You could have been visiting, people in foreign lands, and observing new customs. But but
yeah, no.
that's another conversation. today is today is Veterans Day, by the way. Shout out to all my fellow veterans, and I appreciate you guys. To those of you that are still around, from the first 50 Deuce, and the second 506. Congratulations, another day above ground. Uh, okay, so you kind of agree with me that Saturday is a good motivational guy,
Yeah.
and I imagine that, I mean, that's, got him on the cheap. It wasn't like he
Oh
probably,
yeah, yeah.
so,
The cheapest you could probably get. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so I know I didn't include it in the questions, but if you have Sam Ellinger,
Yep.
okay, and you now have a new coach, you got an atrocious offensive line.
Hmm.
So what does this do? How do you motivate a Jonathan Taylor, or a Pittman? I mean, when you say we'll do better next year, but I mean, Taylor's not getting any younger.
No, and he's beat up. He's injured. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's up to him on what he's got to know the individual, and what is motivating to him. He's got to know. Okay, is Jonathan Taylor someone you pull aside, put your arm around, and say, "Hey, you know what? You'll get him next time. Don't worry about it." Or is Jonathan Taylor the type of guy that needs you to be in his face and say, "You know what? This is unacceptable. I will not tolerate this. When you go out there the next time, I better see something better than what you're performing out right now. And so it's depending on who Jonathan Taylor is, and that's what I think, where the differences was. I think Frank Reich was sort of just, I love everybody. We all together and we love each other. But some of those players need
Can't we
something a
all
little
just get
different.
along?
Yeah. Can we just all get along? Yeah, great. Yeah, that's exactly how, kumbaya, all that kind of stuff. Well, sometimes that doesn't work. A lot of individuals are different, and they need coaches that can kick their ass. And I don't think Frank Reich was that guy. Jeff Saturday will be that guy. He will be both.
Okay, well, hey, we'll see. Like you say, what you're 3-6-1. You can't go.
Yeah, where are you gonna go? You're gonna the
Yeah,
close start to the Jeff Saturday? Well, they already start.
yeah. Hey, is 4-4. 500. An accomplishment for Saturday. It's better than Wright did, right? So
Exactly. Yeah, they win a couple games, and all of a sudden you're better. You can't get any worse, but you can be better.
uh, hey, okay. Playoff prediction. The Giants earn the 7th seed, and the Jets are eliminated. Yay or nay?
Ooh, 17. That's a good question. I think if I had to put a team in the playoffs out of New York or New Jersey, because that's where they really play is New Jersey, I would put the Giants in and the Jets out.
Okay. Bill says they'll both make it, so we'll see.
I think both have a good shot at making it, but yeah, we'll see.
Which NFC conference do you think is most likely to have 3 teams in the playoffs? And the reason why I'm asking this is because we have just said that the Giants make the playoffs. So if the
Right.
Giants make the playoffs, that means that the Eagles
Mm-hmm.
and the Cowboys either both have to make the playoffs because we're saying that the Giants are going to be a 7 seed, or
Right.
one of them has to be eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
So is the NFC least all of a sudden become the powerhouse? Do you think they'll put 3 teams in the playoffs?
I do. I think that's the division. Giants, Eagles, Cowboys are the 3 teams that go at which what was it? 3 years ago, 2 years ago, these teams were like the worst of the worst in in that whole conference. Now they're the best of the best.
Yeah, I think that was the year that everybody in the conference had a losing record, and the team
Right.
that made it, didn't they? They had, what were they?
I
Uh,
think they were 7-9,
seven.
right?
Yeah, that's what I want to say. 7-9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but now, okay, so uh, you think that those 3 teams will make it, but now here's another. Like, I'm gonna keep kind of throwing glitches at you here because I'm thinking they have to play each other twice. So even if they would split with the Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles, even if they would split,
Uh-huh.
you have a team with 3 losses within their division. Don't you think that might make it a little harder for 4 teams to come out? I mean, 3 teams to come out that division.
Yeah, but I think the way the rest of the NFL is shaping up, it lends itself to that anyways. So because what's the in the South, I think that they're 4-5. Like Tampa Bay leads the division and they're 4-5.
Yep.
So there you got that division, and then the West is okay. They're not all that. I think Seattle and San Francisco are leading that division, but I think they're like 5-3. So um yeah, even though that situation does what you're talking about affect the a 3-team. I think one division will definitely have 3 teams come out of it, and I think that would be the division.
Uh, okay. I know how you're a dynasty guy, so you're probably more well aware of this than the rest of us. But the Giants quarterback Daniel Jones
Mhm.
and running back Saquon Barkley are both impending free agency next year. Uh, which one do you think will get the franchise tag, or you think they'll both be in different uniforms in 2023?
I think Daniel Jones is done, and Barkley gets a franchise tag for like the 1 year, and then we'll see what happens. He might be released after that. Running backs just aren't made to be contracted after their rookie contracts. They're just way used up. The way the NFL uses these running backs, they're just not serviceable, or too much serviceable after their rookie 4 or 5 years.
Uh, uh, Going back in history, and uh, since you've uh, mentioned that you followed the Colts since '92, there has to be some things that well, let's talk about the '90s. The '90s running backs were premium. I mean, the highest paid guys on your payroll
Yep.
were your running backs and your quarterbacks. Well, since we've relaxed the rules, you can't don't talk too loud to the quarterback. Don't push him too hard. Make sure that if it's raining, he has an umbrella. Uh, and wide receivers, uh, no more chucking them. After 5 yards down the field, they're free to go across the middle now. It's like a damn jailbreak across the middle for old
Yep.
guys like me. It's like, what the hell? I mean, are they really paying these guys? Like, hey. But anyway, uh, why has the running back position become so um, as you say, it's kind of went from the glamour house to the outhouse. That position now.
Yep.
If you get a good running back and you can keep him for 6 years or 4 years, it's considered an accomplishment.
Yeah.
But it would seem to me with the way that these guys uh, are able to avoid contact. Why isn't the shelf life of a running back longer?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with how many
I mean, yeah,
carries.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, because now you have running backs that catch more passes than they have rushing attempts.
Mhm. A lot of them do. Yeah.
Yeah. So what caused this abandonment? I guess of the running back position.
Yeah, I think it's just a combination of things. One, they're getting carry after carry after carry, and they're the ones that are banging up against the guys that are 350, and 285 coming at you like a bullet, and those kind of things. So they're the ones that really take the punishment over, I think, any other position at a constant rate. And then, as you mentioned, catching the ball, that's almost becoming a situation where all running backs need to have a skill. All running backs need to have is to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And then if they're not doing that, they're blocking. So the running back's body just goes through so much, strenuous exercise. Whether they're getting hit, they're getting blocked, they're catching passes, they're just ramming their body against 385 pounds of defensive tackle, whatever it may be. They're you know the body just breaks down after a while, especially how fast guys are today too. That takes a situation into itself.
But see, okay, now, and I'm not going to beat this dead horse that much longer. But a guy from Pittsburgh went to Kansas City. A guy named Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
Okay, Le'Veon Bell is gone. Travis Kelsey is still there. Who
Yep.
made the most blocks during their career?
I'd probably say Travis Kelsey.
so and at that time the Kansas City line was pretty good. There's 300-pound guys on both sides of the ball.
Sure.
So I mean, yeah, and these guys, they make it, like how. I mean, you got analytics now about the guy's catch radius. How fast he accelerates. How many? What was we had one graphic? When was it? I think it was Sunday. One of the guys hit like 22 miles an hour on.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Right. I forget who it was. But yeah, I saw that.
Right. So I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out because I mean, like, hey, wide receivers are still divas.
Oh,
Tight,
yeah.
tight ends are putting more work in.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not like it, the running back position has actually been asked to me to do less than what they did. I mean, when you compare, those backfields, like I said, the '90s. You talk about the Chargers out here. You talk about Franco Harris and the boys. I mean, come on,
But you're forgetting about catching the ball. Like Frank, I don't know how many receptions Franco Harris got, but it was probably like what 20. In his
He only
career.
if you only caught one, he caught the one that mattered. Didn't matter.
Yeah, you definitely caught that one. Yeah. God, Steelers have been burning me before I was even born. I tell you. My dad's a Raider fan, so he got the Raiders, and then of course the Steelers got in the Colts a couple times. Yeah. So yeah, definitely that one that counted for sure. Made a great catch too. That was a great catch. There's no doubt about it. He got that barely off that ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. The only thing the only comment in today's society would be, you mean he didn't do it with one hand? I mean,
yeah, right. That doesn't count because he didn't catch it with 3 fingers.
Yeah, but it just kind of puzzles me, how the role of the running back has decreased. Yet it seems like we've made so many achievements or strides. When you talk about these linemen 320, 340, I mean, these young guys are huge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're bigger too, for sure.
yeah. The courtship of OBJ. Do you think OBJ will end up with a star on the side of his helmet or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think the way those directions are going, I don't think he wants to be a Ram now. He might have been wanting to do that, but now he's just like, oh no, I don't want to be part of that. Where the Cowboys, very much, yeah, for sure. They CD Lamb, and then who else, right? Noah Brown. I don't know. So Michael Gallup is there, but he's sort of not been what everybody thought he would be. And then a chance to bring in Odell Beckham would really make this team something else. Almost like it made the Rams the Super Bowl team it was. So yeah, I could definitely see him as a Cowboy.
Demetrius was supposed to come back yesterday, but unfortunately, his wife had a setback. But we look forward to having him back. So I had asked a question about Matt Stafford and his sophomore slump. Well, this is just the second year with the Rams.
That's true. You can definitely call it that. Yep.
So, is it a sophomore slump, or did we miss something?
No, I think it's a lie. I think it's the fact that he's whatever 36, 37 years old. It's the fact that his arm is banged up and surgically repaired um and yeah, I think it's just those two combinations. The weapons are okay. I mean, you can't go wrong with Cooper Cup. Maybe they'd like another second receiver. Allen Robinson's more of a third receiver. Tyler Higbee is okay as a tight end. So with the running game too, there's nothing to rely on with the running game at all, and you could just that Matt Stafford isn't going to be running for 75 yards, so you can really put a lot of pressure on the quarterback because there's no threat in the running game, and there's no threat in Matthew Stafford's legs. Plus, there's really no threat in his arm. Yeah, it's a whole myriad of things for him.
Hey, what do you think about that man over there in Seattle?
Wow. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I still love the line where the reporter says a lot of people wrote you off, and he's like, I didn't write back. Um, that was a great line to have right after someone said that. And he's been really good. He's been the first round pick that he almost was. So good for him. There's a lot of players out there that would have just given it up and said, you know what, this isn't for me. But he hasn't, and he kept working and working and working, and now it's all paying off for him. So I hope this isn't a 1 year thing. I hope this continues for him.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of pieces around him. I think a lot of us underestimated Seattle's draft, uh, and it's paying off.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. You got a healthy running back who's really good in Kenny Walker. You still got great wide receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So
You
the offensive
improved
line's
the
really good.
offensive line.
Yep.
So yeah. Um, the Bolts haven't made the playoffs since 2018. Does that streak continue, or do they break it this year?
I think it still continues. They can't get their wide receivers healthy. I don't, and Justin Herbert really isn't all that healthy. So without those three guys, I don't see how they're going to do it. I really don't. So I think they're what 4-5
Yeah,
right now. So
four and
yeah, I don't.
five, and I think who are they playing this week? They're not playing. Who are the Chargers playing this week? The Chargers are playing. Uh,
They're playing the 49ers.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so things don't get any better.
No,
Okay. Um, how many playoff teams do you think come out of the AFC East?
AFC East. That's Patriots, Miami,
Patriots, Miami, and the Jets.
and
Uh,
I think two. Jets have a really good shot, and Miami Dolphins.
but look at what Miami. I mean, look at what New England has done. They're playing pretty good. They're playing good enough to win, even though their quarterback sucks.
Yeah, and they demolished the Colts. I mean, they just ripped them apart. It was so ugly.
That
Oh,
was the
Bill,
shutout. That was the shutout, right? Was that the 26-0 shutout?
no, they got a field goal.
Oh, okay,
So I think it was 26-3
okay,
or something
okay.
to that effect. Yeah. Yeah, we're just looking at the East right now. You have the Bills at 6-2, the Jets at 6-3, the Dolphins 6-3, and the Patriots at 5-4.
So you're saying at least two? Huh?
Oh yeah, if not three. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Uh, Can the Redbirds win if Lamar has to throw the ball?
No. No, they win because he can run the ball. The Ratbirds don't want Lamar Jackson able to be a pocket passer. That's just not going to work. He'll get hit. He'll fumble. He's not accurate enough. No, it's what makes Lamar Jackson great as a quarterback is his running.
Okay, now you almost answered this question before, but I'm going to see if things change for you because you picked two teams to come out of the NFC East. Uh, and I think okay, let's see, that would be one out of the AFC West. But anyway, okay, let's do this. The Bungles, they're a game behind the Ratbirds, and they're facing the second toughest remaining strength of schedule.
Mm.
Do the Bungles have to win to get in, or will there be a wild card coming out of the AFC North?
I think they have a shot as a wild card team. I think only one team comes out of the AFC South. 3 come out of the AFC East, so that's 4. Possibly 2 out of the West, so that's 6, and then the winner out of
6 and 7, right?
let's see,
If two,
3, 5, 6, and 7,
yeah. So you only got one more team.
and that would be the winner of the North. So
is it a matter of when to get in for the AFC North?
I think
everybody else.
Yeah, you got to win that division to get in. I would believe it. But I mean, it's not like they can't make a wild card. Like there's teams like the Chargers who are still in the wild card, and the Patriots at 5-4. So you're going to have like 3 or 4 teams that are 2 or 3, 4 teams, whatever, are going to be around that range, and Bengals will be one of them. So. I would say that if I was to tell the Bengals this is how you make the playoffs, I would tell them you need to win your division, because it's going to be way too difficult to win it with wild card status.
Well, contrary to popular belief, we were all talking about the strength of the AFC West and how hard it was going to be. But it looks like there's only going to be one team coming out of the AFC West also.
Yeah, the Chargers are a little bit better than I thought. They're at 5-3, but I can definitely see no more than 2 are going to come out of the AFC West. That is for sure. The Broncos aren't going to come out of the West, and the Raiders aren't going to come out of the West. So, Chargers or Chiefs, depending on what transpires, because the Chargers are only 1 game behind the Chiefs. So whatever transpires out of that is going to have to go through the wild card system. But there are only 2 there.
All right, well, let's get into a few predictions before we get into our fantasy football session here. So, the Panthers covered that 2.5 that they were spotting the Falcons.
Yeah, they did.
Another game that I thought I thought the Falcons would win this game. I was looking for a lot more from Cordell Patterson.
He didn't do anything.
And of course, Marcus did his thing. When you depend on him, he runs and hides. So, can't blame it on Mariota because he had a regular Mariota performance.
Yeah, it looked not much difference.
Yeah. So let's go for the rest of these games here. Okay, the Seahawks plus 2.5 at the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a push. I'd take the Bucks in the victory, 3 points. So 2.5, whatever. Yeah, it's going to be around that.
The Vikings getting 7.5 playing the Bills at the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under on this, and I'll take the points as well because um, the Bills. I don't know about Josh Allen right now. I really don't. I don't know if how well he's going to be, if he's going to play, or what. So I'll take the Vikings surprisingly, but they're 7-1 surprisingly too. So
Yep. The Lions getting 3.5 at the Bears.
I could say that's a push. This will be interesting on how good both teams do, but because one's very defensive minded and the other one is very much offensive minded. So I'll say push.
Okay. The Broncos plus 3.5. Excuse me. At the at the Titans.
I think every game is a 3.5 with the Broncos. Their defense is just really super awesome, but their offense is just ugh. Um, so their offense might be even worse than the Colts offense. So everything's 3.5 in Bronco land.
Okay. The Jags plus 9.5 at the Chiefs.
Wow, that's a lot of points. I think Jaguars defense is better than that. I'm going to go the Chiefs, of course, but the under.
The Clowns getting 3.5 at the Fins.
I'm going to go over. I think the Dolphins will win at least by 7 points.
Oh, okay. Dolphins cover by 7.
Yeah.
The Texans getting 6.5 at the Giants.
Yeah, I agree with that line. So push there.
The Saints giving the Steelers 2.5 at home.
Andy Dalton should have a good day. So I'm gonna go the Saints with the over.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Shame on you. We got
Sorry.
yeah. Well, hey, I mean, this is a game that we could possibly win. I see. There's not a lot of bright spots on our schedule. This is one that we have at least a 50-50 chance of winning. So
I agree with that.
I'm kind of good with this one, and we're playing at home. Coming off a bye week. Hey, I'm gonna take that 2.5 and run with it. Your Colts giving the Raiders 5.5.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's only 5.5. I said this last week with the Patriots. I was like, well, no, you got to go the over on this. And I think you could go in the over on this as well. The Colts offense is just not good. The Raiders, by the end of this game, they're going to be up by at least 8 points. So I take the Raiders in the over.
The Cowboys giving the Packers 5.5 at Green Bay.
Yeah, I take the Cowboys in the over on this. The Packers or Aaron Rodgers, all of that needs to pack and go.
Yeah, he said the same thing about the Cowboys. He said about the Bears. I own you. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens now.
The Cards minus 3.5 at the Rams.
Cards 3.5. Yeah, I'd say push.
Okay. Monday Night Football. Oh, wait a minute. No, hold on. I got another one. The Chargers getting 6.5 from the 49ers.
Oh, for Sunday Night Football. I don't think so. I really don't. I think 49ers win this game. I mean, Mike Williams is out. Keenan Allen is out. Justin Herbert is banged up. Everything resides on Austin Eckler. The 49ers, they got some injuries
Don't
too.
forget they're banged up on the other side of the ball too.
That is true.
That, that Charger defense is that's not the Bosa that we regularly see out there. That's not
No.
that's not that Charger secondary that we usually see out there. I mean,
Yeah, I just think it's way too many points. I'm still thinking 49ers win this game anyways. So I'll take the 49ers.
yeah, I think the 49ers won it. I think they cover uh also. I think they at least a touchdown, if not 10. But you know, but then again, remember I'm the guy that picked the Steelers. So Monday Night Football, the Commanders plus 10.5 at the Eagles.
Yeah, I think the Commanders' defense is okay. I think that's a lot of points. The Eagles' offense is really good, but in these divisional games, I'm going to say the under. Eagles win, but it's going to be the under.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. Let's get our fantasy football started here, and uh, Lou, talk about your Rams because Fantasy Football Focus says the Rams' offense is a mess, and that Tyler Higbee isn't valuable even in a weak tight end position. Do you agree?
Well, the offense is definitely a mess. Depending on how they want to use Tyler Higbee, he can be valuable, but there's a lot of times where he isn't valuable. So I would say would agree to 90% of what they're saying, but not fully agree with what they're saying.
So, would you keep Tyler Higbee as a tight end too?
Yeah, I think tight end 2 is probably a good spot for Tyler Higbee.
Okay. Uh, ask you about some quarterbacks here. Is it time to bench Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, for sure. He hasn't been worthy of playing for about 5 weeks right now. He's just they don't have the offense weapons. He's missing Devontae Adams more than I think the Green Bay Packers thought they would miss Devontae Adams, and he's got a bunch of ragtag kind of guys. And it's when you're an elderly quarterback and the support isn't there as far as weapons go. Um, you're just not going to score a lot of points, and that's where they are. And Aaron Rodgers isn't delivering, so I agree. Time to bench Aaron Rodgers.
What about Matt Stafford?
I agree, Matt Stafford as well. He hasn't been good since week 1, and then I should say before the start of week 1, he hasn't been good. And his weapons are better than Aaron Rodgers, but he's dealing with an arm injury and those kind of things. So, yeah, Matt Stafford should not be started.
Now, I don't know how much you use Yahoo Fantasy Football, but on Yahoo they have one of those stardom, situm, apps on there. Stardom, situm, trade them, suggestions, stuff like that. And I had Aaron Rodgers as my number 2 quarterback. And lo and behold, today the recommendation came that I should drop Aaron Rodgers and pick up Russell Wilson. And I said to myself, what the hell? Is Russell Wilson the guy that you should also bench?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why they said. I mean, I don't know if that's just because that's what's left in the league. I know as we get to this point of time, there's very few remaining players that are available or have any kind of value. So maybe that's what they figured into their algorithm. I don't know, but if I'm looking at Matthew Stafford, I'm looking at Russell Wilson. They're both like, I don't want either one of them. So that's pretty funny that they offered you something that you don't want anyways.
Yeah, and also surprising is that both Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson were ranked ahead of Derek Carr. What's your
Wow.
thoughts on his fantasy value?
Wow.
Because I dropped Aaron Rodgers and picked up Carr. I'm sorry. I just
No, I think that's fine. I would too.
I mean I have to like Carr's weapons. When you look at the overall picture, I mean, who has the better weapons? Is it more likely that Lazard is going to score a touchdown or Tyreek Hill?
Right. Yeah. Tyreek Hill might have a better.
I mean, excuse me, Devontae Adams, right?
Right, Devontae Adams either way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about some trades here. What about the Clowns running back Nick Chubb?
You could, as far as maybe get some good value out of him, but are you talking about professionally, or are you talking about fantasy football?
We're talking about fantasy.
Yeah, I think if it depends. It depends on your situation and what kind of league settings you have and those kind of intricacies. But trading Nick Chubb is something that you can do if you want to get like better draft picks, or if your team isn't doing what they need to be doing. Now, if you're going for a championship, don't trade Nick Chubb. But if you're pretty much out of the playoffs, yes, trade Nick Chubb for if you can do picks or whatever benefits that you can get out of going into next year.
What about Packers running back AJ Dillon? We thought that both of these guys were going to gain 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, I really thought AJ Dillon was going to be something, but he's turned into nothing. I think if you can, go ahead, but that market is pretty dry for AJ Dillon. To me, he's more of a cut candidate than a trade candidate.
Oh, wow. From 1,000-yard rusher to a cut candidate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been really disappointing.
DJ is back for the Lions. Where does that leave Jamal Williams?
He's always sneaky. He's like the guy that's going to get 2 touchdowns on 1-yard carries and is going to finish with like 14, 15 points just because he's had those 2 touchdowns and 1 yard each. Always sneaky. I like him. On my team, I don't know if you'll be able to trade him for anything worth anything, but he's one of those guys that you can't cut, and you enjoy watching him score those 1-yard touchdowns because that's really good for flex options. But trading, no, I don't think you can get anything out of him for him.
Okay. We talked about OBJ, and where he would end up. But what's the fantasy value of OBJ? I mean, anywhere he goes, is he more than a wide receiver 3?
Probably not. Even if he goes to the most opportunist team, like if he goes,
I don't see him ending up with the Chiefs. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, or the Bills or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The best of the best. He's still just a wide receiver 3. He's probably a wide receiver 3 on the team. And it's you're not going to get much out of him. He could be a good flex option going to one of those high profile offensive teams, but outside of that, he's not going to be much.
If your flex options are OBJ or Julio Jones, you better be trying to trade Nick Chubb and
get something for you.
I'm just saying. Um, okay, little stardom sitter. Uh, because some of these guys may be on your sleeper list, and I'm going to ask you about a little later on. But let's get a little start here. Okay. Uh, the Bears, Justin Fields against the Lions. Start him or sit him?
Every week Justin Fields gets better and better, and this is a very tasty matchup. So I think I'm definitely starting Justin Fields.
Okay. Tua against the Clowns.
Yeah, he's sort of the same way as Justin Fields. He's gotten a lot better over this season, and I think this is a great opportunity for him to continue to do that. So Tua is starting. Yeah.
Jimmy the Porn King against the Rams.
If you're in super flex leagues, yes. 12 QB leagues, no. 12 team, no.
Geno Smith against the Bucks.
Not this week. I think he barely falls out of the top 12. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say no.
Kirk Cousins against the Bills.
Yeah, sort of the same way as Geno Smith, just outside of the top 12.
Are you starting Josh Allen against the Vikings?
I don't think you could ever not start Josh Allen, but this would be one of those situations where you could actually think about it.
Tom Brady against the Seahawks.
Oh, another good one. Yeah, I think he barely falls into the top 12 somewhere, so anywhere between 10 and 12. So yeah.
Crybaby Rogers against the Cowboys.
Um uh yeah, definitely non-startable for that crybaby.
Stafford against the 49ers.
Yeah, again, I can't start Stafford. Nope.
Okay, let's see. Let's get into some running backs here. Your boy Jonathan Taylor against the Raiders.
If his ankle, hopefully his ankle is good enough to withstand. This would be a great matchup because they're going to run the ball a lot, and Jonathan Taylor is should very much take advantage of this situation. So definitely start Jonathan Taylor.
Jamal Williams against the Bears.
Yeah, he just doesn't get enough volume. So I'm gonna have to say no.
David Montgomery against the Lions.
It should be, but yeah, I'm gonna say yes. He should be in the top 24 somewhere.
Okay, now got to ask you here because to me this is when I look at David Montgomery and I look at Khalil Hubbard, I'm starting Khalil Hubbard.
I agree. Yeah, if I have a choice between one of those, I'm definitely starting Herbert over Montgomery. Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Najee Harris against the Saints.
I don't know how much workload he's going to get. Jalen Warren is being talked about to get a lot more volume. To say he's not going to finish in the top 24 also is kind of difficult. I'm going to say, yeah, start him, but it's going to be like RB 23 to RB 27, 28. That's what he's going to end up.
Edwards-Helaire against the Jaguars.
No, they got like 4 different running backs involved, and they don't run the ball much anyways. So unless in a dire situation.
Well, Marcel is on the IR this week.
Who's on the IR?
Marcel, McCole. What's his name?
Oh, McCole Hardman.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's on the IR this week, so might be a few more touches for Hilaire, but
Could be.
they just got Tony in too, so
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. Singletary against the Vikings.
I think he can finish in the top 24. So you can start Singletary.
Okay. Commanders running back Brian Robinson against the Eagles.
No, not against that defense. That defense, yeah, especially a slow, very just I don't know. I won't. Even, I don't know if you can call it methodical. He's just very slow running back.
Okay. A few wide receivers here. AJ Brown against the Commanders.
Yeah, I like AJ Brown. I think Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown happens quite a bit. He should finish in the top 24 somewhere.
Christian Kirk against the Chiefs.
They're going to be behind, so they'll have to throw the ball. So Christian Kirk should have a top 24 game.
Olave versus the Steelers.
Yes, he should take advantage of whatever defense the secondary the Steelers have outside of Minka Fitzpatrick.
Uh, Jerry Judy versus the Titans.
I'm interested to see how Russell Wilson's going to go because he's alternating between Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton. In the last 2 weeks, it's been Jerry Judy. So if it continues to be that way, yes. But I have a funny feeling he might go to Cortland Sutton more in this week. So I'm going to say no.
Well, I think this is Cortland Sutton's first week back healthy, right?
I thought he was back last week, but or did they have the bye last week? I think they
They
had
had
a
to
bye.
buy. They had to buy last week.
So yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So, we always talk about, running back by committee. Is this wide receiver by committee? Is Cortland, Sutton, like OBJ? I mean, do you pick him up and hope that Russell, looks at him? Do you put him in the flex position? Where do you put Cortland Sutton if he's on your roster?
Yeah, I think you could play him as a flex and be okay with it. It's the same with Jerry Judy. Just very minimalistic kind of situation. If you have better flex options, you can go with it. They just don't score points. So it's hard to say. They're going to get maybe one touchdown. And whether that's running or passing, you just don't know. And you can't. That's definitely putting in the box of flex options.
Pittman against the Raiders.
I like this matchup. I'm going to say yes, definitely top 24.
Thielen against the Bills.
No, I can't count on Thielen in against Buffalo.
Wendell Robinson against the Texans.
That might not be bad considering they don't really have much place to go to outside of Darius Slayton and Wandale Robinson. So I think he's a flex option. I wouldn't put him in the top 24, so you're not going to start him, but you could put him as a flex.
Tight end Tyler Higbee.
Against the 49ers, who I think they're either really good against tight ends or they're really bad. I can't remember which. If they're really bad, then yes. If they're really good, then of course.
Okay. Commit. The Bears tight end against the Lions.
Yeah, I think Commit gets in the end zone again this week, so definitely go with Commit as a startable tight end, top 12 guy.
Okay. Dulcich, the Broncos tight end, Greg Dulcich against the Titans.
They've been really targeting him quite a bit, so I'm going to say yes, top 12.
Okay. The Bucks tight end, Katie Otten against the Seahawks.
Yeah, Cameron Brate might be back, so watch that. If Brate is out still, then I say yes for Kate Otten. If Cameron Brate returns, then I say no.
Okay, I got some guys on here. I don't know if some of these guys were your sleepers or not when you come to Dopage and Otten and some of these guys, but who are some of the guys that are some of the sleepers that we can pick up on, and who should we be looking for on the waiver wire?
Waiver wire. Let's see. There's probably a few guys, even though that waiver wire is pretty much starting to dry out as we talk here.
Well, let me see. Let's look at the Sports Crib League, for instance, and see who's available on the waiver wire out there. Uh, let's see. Uh, okay, where are we? Hybrid Horde. Okay, here's some guys that are on the waiver wire uh, at the Sports Crib League. Uh, let's see. Okay. Looks like some of these guys that I put out here on the waiver wire. Okay. Number one, Deontay Johnson is on the waiver wire.
Wow.
Won't be available until Saturday. This is in our league. Uh, Gerald Everett, he's available right away. Lazard, he'll be available Saturday. Ryan Suckup will be available Saturday. Jacoby Myers, he's on a bye. Darrell Darrell Mooney is on the waiver wire. Curtis Samuels, Garrett Wilson, James Robinson, Jeff Wilson,
Hmm.
Myers, and Claypool, Khalil Hubbard.
Herbert is a good one. Yeah.
Okay, that's in our league. See a couple other sports crib leagues I play in here. Okay, in this league we have Curtis Samuels, Kurt Cousins, A.J. Dillon, Khalil Hubbard, Trevor Lawrence, Dawson Knox, Gasecki, Tyler Algieri, the Titans, McCole Hardman,
Hardman's good too.
and the Colts. So that's two
He's not
leagues.
bad. Yeah, Herbert, McCall Hardman, Colts defense. If you're looking for that situation.
Let's see. Let me go one other league here. Smash Mouth boys. Let's see. What do we got? Okay, on in this league we have Cortland Sutton, Jamil Williams, Deontay Foreman, Rondell Moore, Nick Folk, Gasecki, Santos, Algieri, the Giants defense, and Daniel Jones. So where do you
Foreman there?
Where are you looking on the waiver wire?
Yeah, I think Deontay Foreman is good there as well.
But is he consistent? That's the thing. We saw him put up 22 points. Thursday night, but then he hasn't scored 22 points total in the first 4 games.
I think the first game he took over when CMC was traded. He did pretty well, and then the week after, no, the first 2 weeks he did pretty well. Then the third week, not so much. And then this Thursday, he did pretty good.
Yeah, he did real good this Thursday. Any in the dynasty league, is there anybody that you stashed away that you know are thinking like maybe not 2023 but 2024?
That's a little far out. Maybe someone like Terrace Marshall might
Okay.
fit that situation. And I think especially if they stick to what they have now going forward and get a quarterback. So if Terrace Marshall is, one of the starting wide receivers there, I like that for 2024 quite a bit.
Okay.
That way you
Well,
give the rookie wide receiver, the rookie quarterback, some time to develop.
well, when I say 24, I'm actually talking about next year. 2020, the 2023-24 season, not
Oh,
24-25. Uh,
gotcha.
but you know, so I'm thinking, like some of these guys, you might, you, you might keep them this year.
Mm-hmm.
Or like you say, in a dynasty league, you might trade for some of them. Is there anybody that we should look out for that is going to make a breakout next season?
I think Rashad White for Tampa Bay is an option there. Who else might be somewhat of an option? Wandale Robinson. We talked about him tonight. Could be very much an option for next season. And then a lot of the tight ends. There seems like there's just a plethora of tight ends. Greg Dulcich, Kate Otten, just to name a couple, are all looking very promising as tight ends, as rookies. So they could definitely come around.
Um, I'm looking at the scheme of things here, uh, and I'm also looking at the players that they've acquired and the ones that they've let go, like Jeff Wilson, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer a 49er, but and we talked about the role of Ayuk going
Yeah.
forward.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have, providing Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, Debo Samuels can stay healthy, Jimmy G can stay healthy. What's the role of Kettle
Yeah.
in this offense?
Or any of them for that matter. I think it's going to be a revolving door. I think the central piece in all this is, of course, Christian McCaffrey, and then Deebo Samuel is definitely the second guy you're going to look at, and then whatever remains between Ayuk and Kittle is the third, and the rest, whoever doesn't get that, then it's going to be nothing but bones left on the carcass.
We also, we're talking about, how it's you have a lot of teams that are going to be running back by committee. What's going to happen, or what is going to be the role of Jeff Wilson in Miami now that he's back up with Mostert? Is this going to be, uh, let's take turns? One week it'll be Mostert, one week it'll be Wilson. What's the deal here? Is this a two-headed monster or what?
I think so. I think that you have a 1A and 1B situation here. And both of them can be fantasy relevant going forward.
All right, so now you have me confused because I got Mostert and Wilson
Mm-hmm.
in the backfield,
Mm-hmm.
and I got Tyreek and Waddle as wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about there not being enough footballs to go around in 49er land? What's going on in Dolphin land?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the difference per se is that Raheem Mostert is not someone who's going to catch passes out of the backfield, where Christian McCaffrey obviously can do so. Not Jeffrey Wilson can, but you're looking at splitting it up. Now, if Jeffrey Wilson was the guy, he was the Christian McCaffrey. Um, I don't think you would still rely on him as you would rely on Christian McCaffrey, but he would definitely take away some of the things. So he's a threat, but he's not such a threat. He's like one or two catches where McCaffrey is going to get 5-6 receptions. And the offense is more built around Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle than the running backs, where it's sort of vice versa with the 49ers.
So now, once again, is start talking about tight ends. Is Gesicki an afterthought?
Yeah, for sure. There's just not enough room for Gesicki. He still can catch a touchdown here and there. In a tight end wasteland of fantasy, he's still someone that you could go ahead and put out there and just go, okay, whatever happens, happens. I'm not looking at consistency, because you shouldn't. After the first 3 or 4 tight ends, consistency doesn't exist. So don't get frustrated that Mike Gesicki isn't putting up points 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden does it for a couple weeks, and you think you're going to get consistency moving forward. You're not. And so you just have to live with it and be happy when it comes in, when your horse comes in, and just go, that's just the way it is when it doesn't.
Quick thoughts about the Cardinals. Running back by committee, but do you, I mean, even if Connor is healthy, is he worth a pickup?
Yeah, in a way, because he's going to get much more of the volume than, say, Edmonds. But scoring points on the ground is not something the Cardinals do anyways. They're very much of a throwing team. So DeAndre Hopkins, especially being back, is going to take away from a lot of that. I mean, Connor scored, what was it, like 16 touchdowns last season, but that was a fluke. He's not going to score that this season in this offense.
He might not score 6.
He might not. He might not. Yeah.
Speaking of offenses here, let's see. It was kind of right on the tip of my tongue here. Chase Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy value? Is he also? I mean, is this also going to turn into a team of running back by committee?
I forgot he got traded.
Yeah, he got traded. He's where's Chase now?
I forgot all about
Denver.
him.
Denver. Yeah,
wow.
He's in Denver.
You can't trust Chase Edmonds, and you can't trust much of any of the running backs in Denver. So Melvin Gordon is going to have a role. I don't think Mike Boone has worked out too well. They're hoping Chase Edmonds adds some firepower to that offense, and he can if you get him in some open space. But for the most part, Chase Edmonds has not succeeded as a runner, and so I don't know how much dump offs Russell Wilson's going to do to Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about Russ earlier, but it also seems to me that Denver, even though they've had their share of injuries as usual, but it doesn't seem like they're putting the type of quality players around Russ that he needs. Also, but Russ is getting up there in age. It's not like he's a young guy. So is Denver also looking for a quarterback in next year's draft?
I don't think so. I don't think this is what they thought Russell Wilson was going to bring to them. I think that
Oh, it's not what they thought, but the reality.
the reality is definitely much more than what they thought. I know they paid Russell Wilson a lot of money, and that might have something to do with it too. So
Gave up a few draft picks too, right?
yeah, I think so. I think you're right. They really gave up a lot to get Russell Wilson there, and yeah, who would have thought that Geno Smith would be the winner of this competition? But here we are. And so probably not next year, but the year after, I think that they'll probably be in the market for a quarterback.
All right, man. Hey, well, as usual, it's good talking to you on Friday night, getting our fantasy picks and whatnot. Why don't you give us your final thoughts and any tips that you might have, and make sure you tell everybody where they could find you on social media.
Yes, sir. You can find me RFL Red Zone on Twitter. Not really anywhere else but Twitter. I'm not even really on Twitter all that much either. But that's where you can find me. Love to talk football. So any questions that anybody may have, you can definitely hit me up there. I'll get to you. As far as tips and tricks, just don't overthink it. Don't get ahead of your skis. Just do what you've been doing all season long, and if it's not worked out for you, just keep hitting that waiver wire. See if you can get some last minute trades in and work that angle. And as far as the veterans go, 100% support, and thank every individual that fought. Same to you, sir. I completely respect you, regardless military or non-military. I'm glad that we've crossed roads, and look forward to this every week. So thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good night and weekend.
You too, man. You have a good one, and we'll see you right here next week on And the Winners Are. Have a
Yes,
great
sir.
night. Have a great weekend, Mike. See you
You too,
next
sir. Thank you.
Friday. All right. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. Look forward to talking to you next week. Any tips that you might have, and as you said, if you have any questions, make sure to connect with Mike over there on Twitter at the Red Zone, and you can hit me up on Twitter at West Coast Steeler Fan or at the Sports Crib. We are active on both. So have a great night. Look forward to talking to you next week, and enjoy yourself. Be safe. And to all my veterans, peace. See you later, brother.